Pause. And we are going into game 6 of this best of 9 in the lower left position as the red Terran player. We do have Team Properties Bobson. His opponent is, of course, the blue Protoss. In the top right, it is Dignitas Orc. I am Maddles. I'm here casting with Zoya. And Zoya, the map is Cloud Kingdom, and I love this map.
It's a good map. I think this was the map that Team Liquid gave the award of Map of the Year. I think that's right. It's an overall good map. A lot of people like it. There were a lot of complaints on both sides. PvZ, people used to think Protoss was the best here for a while, and are now able to overwhelm that. But this is a good map. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorites.
Apparently the colors are switched. Apparently we got that slightly wrong. Apparently it's a red Protoss player and a blue Terran player. Our lovely production crew just told us. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be
pretty unpro of us, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We just won't refer to colors. We'll just call them by who they are, and everyone be able to keep up. It's fine. And right now we're seeing a normal game unwrapping again. Looks like we're seeing the barracks timing standard from Bobson, gateway timing standard from Orc, and with this downtime, Maddles, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How'd you get started casting? How long you been casting? And let the viewers know a little bit about you.
Well, I started casting back just over a year ago now, so I'm still pretty newbie to all of this. I started out just because I was playing lots, watching lots, and suddenly thought, hey, I had to go through some replays for some friends and be like, I'll give you some tips on how to improve. Then I thought, hey, why not cast them? Started up some YouTube, it gained traction slowly, started doing some tournaments. I did all of Antec Attack, which was a massively long-running weekly tournament. I did a whole ton of live events. I've done iSeries, the UK's biggest gaming festival, twice now. And I've been doing ESET Masters, I've done the Zowie Davina show matches, and I've also got a couple of league games I'm going for at the moment. So what about yourself?
I started back in the beta. I was originally aiming at being a player. I've won close to $100, back in the beta through smaller tournaments as well as early release. But I started coaching friends, started making YouTube videos and me commentating while playing, and the slow transition of people getting a following based on YouTube versus carpal tunnel just making it really hard for me to play. I just transitioned into casting and been doing it since the beta.
That is pretty awesome.
Playhem is my biggest platform that I did for quite a while. I've done 3 DreamHacks now and 1 LAN event. So it's pretty fun.
LAN events are great fun. I mean, Obviously, I'm hoping we'll see both of these guys potentially at the I-48 tournament coming up in March, where, of course, it is a £10,000 prize pool put up by ESET for the ESET UK Masters. So we should be seeing some absolutely great players there. So make sure you guys all put that in the diaries. If you are in the UK or even in Europe or anywhere in the world, to be honest, you can grab tickets. So make sure you check that out. Just Google iSeries or Insomnia 48 and you will find it very, very quickly. But we should probably talk a little bit about the game, in my opinion. Just a brief little check.
Yeah, well, things are starting to change up. The early game for the most part, these guys been pretty slow. It's starting to change up though. We're not seeing the same build from Bobson again. He is throwing in the very quick third command center here. Going to try and get a huge economic lead, possibly hit a 3-base timing to overwhelm his opponent. And on Orc's end, he's doing the exact same thing. Seeing the 2-gate timing. Pretty normal. He's been doing that all 3 games. The gateway expanding the 2 gates. Should be seeing the robo follow-up. Second gas started sometime soon as well. So Orc playing the same. Bobson changing it up, though. And I love that. I love that so much. His style wasn't working the 3 games he lost at the start, so he's changed his style. And that's so smart. I love it when players can adapt in the middle of a series.
I know, I think it's precisely the right thing to be doing. And the one thing I forgot to mention, actually, with things I do is, of course, I also do loads with Definitive Esports. I don't know, I completely forgot to mention that, but something else everyone should check out. They do great news coverage, but I'm just looking at how straight up Orc is playing. He's done the same thing every game so far.
Yeah,
I mean, the one game where he cheesed was the only difference.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is a safe, solid style. 3-gate robo off of 2 bases is a very normal opener for Protoss players. This is as safe as it can get. This is a solid style. He gets the observers out. He can scout with it. It's a good style, and there's nothing wrong with not changing it up. It can be risky going for Twilight Council first. Stargate play versus the Terran is very weird, very all-in-ish. So, this is normal play, and Orc really can't switch it up now. And for those who are wondering, yes, Orc has swapped back to Zerg as of recently, or back to Protoss. He was playing Zerg for a while, and now he's back to Protoss again. He's been changing it up, but now he's maining Protoss again.
He can play all three races, though, to a high Masters level, which is pretty cool. And we are seeing the Twilight Council on its way out now for Orc. So this is a variation we've seen from the other builds. Usually grabs the Robotics Bay quite quickly. But I think that's a nice change. It's something that Bling is really fond of doing as well. He goes for the High Templar before Colossi normally. So maybe we'll be seeing that out of Orc. But yeah, it's an interesting build on its way so far.
Yeah, Orc is changing it up now. The Robo opening is standard, but now he's changing it up. Not going for the faster Colossus, going for that Forge, going for that very quick charge here. We'll see what he wants to do with this. He's going for a fast forward gas. It'd be really cool if we saw him do a 2-base Sullen. A 2-base charge lot Archon bust would be really cool to see from Orc. With the fast, greedy third command center, if he hits a fast timing, he can overwhelm his opponent if they don't have too many bunkers. Well, just to see what Orc's plan is with this fast Twilight Council.
Indeed, we'll wait and see. For the moment, just more gateways being added on. Yet again, we've got Orc. Well, actually, Orc doesn't have any observers out. He does have the one, but it's not over. Where is it? Where is it sitting? There we go. So it has scouted out that the 3 command centers are there. That's the important thing. It's spotted. But I reckon Orc is hoping the Bobson is going to go yet again for the quicker starports, which we've been seeing in the more recent longer games. And as a result, that might be the change going away from the early Colossi, just due to the huge number of Vikings that Bobson's been going for.
And Bobson hasn't scouted the main base yet. He has not seen anything in the main base, hasn't done a scan, has no clue. And there we go, we're seeing Orc going for a faster third base. You talked about how the observer got to the main base, saw the faster command center. So you got 2 options at that point. Do you throw down 5 more gates, go up to 9 gates, do an all-in with Archons and charge lots, or do you expand? And Orc's, okay, I've seen how he plays in the late game. I know I can handle him. So let's just play the safe style. If I lose this game, it's tied up 3-3 and I lose my advantage. So he's going to go for the safer end, and I like that decision.
I do. The scan now just going off, so sees everything, and that is absolutely ideal for Bobson right now. He knows that the Templar Archives was getting chrono boosted. He knows, of course, I don't know if he did see the Twilight Council researching anything, or if it had finished by that point, but all in all, Bobson now knows what's coming. The only thing he doesn't know about is that third base, so he needs to spot that pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was a beautiful scan there. Already has the Ghost Academy just about to finish. He's got this +1 attack just finishing. Does he have the armory? He does, so that +2 attack will be able to start. So that +1 armor started. Mobius Reactor being researched, so he's going to be fine against any form of fast High Templar timing. I love people who can react instantly to seeing what they scout. He saw that Templar of Archives and immediately threw down the Ghost Academy.
Exactly, and I mean, the thing I'm really hoping to see is that, for Orc's sake, is that he does transition to get some Colossi out soon, because otherwise he is going to fall victim to potentially a push out with Ghosts early on and not really forcing Bobson to transition out of that. But the third base for Bobson is at a nice timing and puts them in very equal economic position. Looking at the income of these two, Bobson with slightly more mineral income, obviously due to moves, but Orc with a slightly better gas income at the moment. So that's all good, but a lot more gateways now being added on. And Zoya, that creates an interesting dynamic going into the later mid-game.
Yeah, he's definitely wanting to play this gateway heavier style. It's going to be primarily on charge lots, Archons, and High Templar. He's not going anywhere towards the robotics facility just yet. He could mix in an Immortal too, unlikely though. And he's just going to be staying on this Templar tech, which is a fine style to play. But he's definitely going to have to get ready. When he takes that 4th base, he really needs to get that robotics base started. And there he goes. He's already going ahead and throwing that down, getting ready for that Colossus transition.
And I'm really glad to see that. I mean, this is absolutely identical to a build that actually Bling did at I-47, where he quite often went for High Templar first and early to get some Archons and a lot of Zealots, and then transitioned into the Colossi. And it makes you a bit safer earlier on, especially against any big pushes or anything like that. And also, if you think your opponent is going to overmax on Vikings, which we have seen Bobson do, it's a good little build to throw out there. And luckily for Bobson, he's been perfectly prepared for it. And I'd say these two are in a pretty even spot right now.
I mean, if we look at what Bobson did last game, he did that 2-base all-in with a load of Vikings. So, you know, after that loss there to just completely skip Colossus, you know, it's a logical decision. And we're seeing that now that we're getting into late game, Orc is ready to transition. He's got a second row box really almost done. He's got his +3 armor and +2 attack started. Going for a little bit of aggression here, and I don't know if it'll work. There are plenty of ghosts here. Not too many medevacs, though. So if he lands some good storms, he might be able to do a decent amount of damage to this army.
We'll wait and see, but it looks also moving forward as well, ready to deal with this. He sees from the Watchtower everything coming in. The Zealots are charging in. The Archons are there. The High Templar are nowhere to be seen, though, so those storms are going to be coming a bit late. They do miss target as well, which is not great for Orc, who is now in full retreat, puts down that storm, trying to prevent Bobson from being able to chase him. But all in all, Bobson defended that perfectly and now has quite a substantial supply lead on Orc.
A big mistake there from Orc engaging without his High Templar being in position. You know, he had the units force fielded there. He could have landed a couple good storms, and he just jumped the gun a little bit there and lost a lot of supply. Now we see the supplies 167 to 137. You know, Bobson's taking that win like, okay, I'm not going to go for a push. I'm going to double expand. He's got 2 command centers finishing up. He's building another one now. He's going full-on macro mode. Should be adding on more barracks soon as well. Not building upgrades right now, though. You know, we've noticed from all the games, you know, sometimes he just delays his upgrades a little bit. Could be going up to 3-2, and, you know, his opponent's going to be on 3-2 very soon, too. But here comes some aggression from Bobson.
Indeed, there is a lot of aggression coming in, and there is the single Colossus out on the field at the moment. The second one about to pop, but if Bobson pushes up right now with those cloak ghosts, he could get some great snipes off exactly as he's doing. The EMP's hit precisely on the mark. A second Colossus is now joining the battle, and with those storms which are doing pretty intensive damage, we may see Orc hold this quite comfortably, but Bobson has got a big supply advantage for the moment, so this is going to be fairly close. Looks like Orc is holding with the aid of that second Colossus. Well, Bobson pretty unlucky on that timing, though, I've got to say.
Yeah, the Colossus showed up just in time, unfortunately, for Bobson. Yeah, he still has that supply lead. Reinforcements are streaming across the map. Needs to grab some of those. Needs to bring his medevacs back home, too. Losing a lot of medevacs there to almost nothing. You know, not having Vikings with that push really, you know, helped Orc hold that off quite easily. And now the game's a little bit closer there. I still want to side with Bobson here if he starts his upgrade soon. And you know, he just needs to keep a level head and get that Viking production started.
Well, overall, looking at the loss tab, it's very, very similar. The difference is, though, Bobson has got a, well, 6 worker advantage. He also has mules, and he also has his 4th base up, as well as grabbing 2 additional orbital commands. So he's in a great economic position, and he's switching straight away into getting more Vikings out. So he's responding to what he saw. Perhaps he could have retreated a little bit earlier after he saw that second Colossus pop, and obviously, he didn't manage to get either of them, so that means the Colossi count is going to start raging, and Orc now pushing in towards Bobson's 4th base. Scans going off to get a good count on the army, but Orc clearly doesn't feel confident moving in quite yet.
The supply income tab 80 to 73. Both players are pretty high up there. 3-2 finally started for Bobson, going to be getting up that upgrade advantage. Vikings have that +1 attack, no +2 attack on the way. Orc up to 179 supply. This is a nice little timing from Orc. I don't know if it's going to work, though. He's moving straight up in that natural base completely undefended. This is going to put him at a solid position to get good force fields down and to hold off his opponent with storms while he moves into that main base and take out a lot of production.
Indeed there is, but Orcs Colossi are a bit out of position. We do have the Vikings moving in. Storms are hitting precisely on the mark, though. Look at this damage being done to those Colossus. So many falling ever so quickly, and Orc is so committed in this position. Bobson with a big supply advantage at the moment. This Protoss force completely trapped. The final Colossus does now fall, and with only a handful of Zealots remaining, that gets cleaned up quite comfortably. Orc did manage to kill 34 SCVs throughout that push, though. But looking at the count, obviously with those additional orbital commands down and yet another command center in production, Bobson is going to be able to get those back pretty quickly. And with his supply lead, Orc's in a tough spot still, but
it's definitely looking like it might be over here. The Bobson's counterattack is just way too strong. The storms were okay at the start, but the EMPs that followed up were too good. And you know, it's always a really dangerous situation to put yourself when you push into that natural like that. You corner yourself in like we saw. And here we go, Bobson charging forward. There are a few storms here. One of them does go down that Viking. That Colossus looks like it's still going to fall. Big push in that natural base. The army is split up, so the storms aren't going to be good enough. And no more energy on these High Templar. Orc down the 115 supply. The 4th base going to fall. The 3rd base. Probes are being pulled. If we look at that Harvester's kill tab, Bobson's killed 18 so far. The Colossus might be enough to hold this off. Vikings coming over, though. A lot of probes here, but I don't know. The Orc's just losing way too much. 138 supply to 83. Reinforcements showing up just in time, and this looks like
that's
series
GG.
gonna be tied up.
That is going to be GG straight there. There is no way you're going to come through and be able to defend that because, well, just look at how much stuff's there. And, well, as you said, that levels it up 3-3. Bobson and Team Property are coming back fighting.